to.
You're being a proper cameraman today.
Yes, please, thank you.
A draw. I thought you had a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll go over there.
Yeah.
Back again then. All right.
Drawers and
So would you like to take a card?
Any hand, yeah.
Any hand. Just hold on to it.
We could have a meet-up about drawing, couldn't we, really?
I have done workshops on drawing through this.
Yeah. I'll probably draw Lucifer.
thank you.
Yep.
Does it say no? Oh,
Brilliant.
Angel.
Okay. Now, anyone who has got something that doesn't make any sense, this is at the bottom. So there are reversals here. Oh, I better take one as well. That's the bottom.
Am I looking at 99 or 66? 66.
You're looking at it upside down.
66, yeah.
I wonder that's my name right.
27.
Okay, who wants to show their card? Shall we just do it in order? What did you get? Okay, so this is the Devas of Worlds. Really, really, really high level being. Probably something about what you'd love to imagine, what you'd love to reach for. But if being as if these are energy beings, you will have that energy around you and you can call on it if you should choose to. So this is about, I would love to reach out for new worlds. I would love to bring in real high-level consciousness, that sort of thing. Does that make any sense to you?
yeah.
A little bit.
Manifesting.
It's yellow, it's very yellow, it's manifesting. isn't it?
Somewhere around here is the book. Oh, this is the book that half of it was printed upside down, which is why I kept it. Here you go. Yes, exactly.
Do you have a Kindle version of it?
Not so far, no, I don't. Actually, I haven't managed to let Amazon have a go at it yet. I need to do that, though. That's next on my list. So what have you got?
So mine is 22 and it's reversed.
Yeah, don't worry about the reversals. I never read reversals with the Devas. That's Earth, though. The numbers don't mean anything to me, and if you look, that blue sky is the top.
Yeah.
So Earth is about really making things manifest. Earth in it. I usually read it when that comes up, that there's stuff moving, but it hasn't kind of hit the surface yet. So there will be changes coming around you, but they're not obvious yet. And as I say, it is about earthing, it's about really becoming really conscious of your own body and what you want to achieve.
Is that what you would say if you were reading? Would you say that was meditation?
No, it's actually much more about being here now, that sort of thing. So just every now and again stop and say, all right, how do I feel? How's my body feel? How am I right now?
I got 27.
Don't tell me the numbers that mean nothing.
It
Yeah.
means something to me, actually, the number.
Okay. Well, that's metamorphosis. So metamorphosis would be this figure that has allowed itself to break down within a little pupa and is changing into something else, which is really quite stunning if you think about it. The whole process of metamorphosis is absolutely amazing, but you have to let yourself just break down, and that can be quite frightening. So would you say that you were in a process of metamorphosis?
Yes, huge life changes.
Well, that's good. I was just thinking how we could work with this a little bit more, but let's go right round. Okay, so that's divine inspiration. It's one of the angelics. For me, it's a very creative card. It's sort of about flying high as far as you can go. So the energy around is very high level. Are you creative?
Yes, but it's a bit blocked at the moment.
Well, that energy is there, so why not call on it? What I would say is, if it's blocked, could that be quite a lot of, oh, I ought to be doing it this way or that way?
No, it's kind of fears that I have.
Fears?
Yes, about aspiring to do things. And I mean, I have been very creative and I stopped because of certain obstacles, so I just stop and start.
It's always a good idea to try something completely different. You know, if you've been doing huge things, do teeny weeny little things, or try a different sort of creative outlet. The number of times I've been blocked, I can't tell you. But what happens with me is I may be blocked, and then suddenly somebody will come up with something, and I'm like, oh, yeah, now there's something. That's this tarot, which I'll tell you about a bit later. That started because at Watkins, somebody had a postcard of Elijah on the wall, and I looked at it and I thought, that's the Tarot of Hermits. And that's Byzantine art. My God, that's fantastic. I didn't like Byzantine art before I did that, but chatting to John Matthews one evening, he said, oh, I've always wanted to do a Byzantine tarot. And I said, well, that's what I'm going to do. Why don't we collaborate? So 3 years down the line, we have a new tarot. But, you know, it can be, for me, it often is about synchronicity. Listen to what?
Pay attention.
Exactly. Especially when you've got that sort of card. Now that is Mars, you're right. It's interesting, Mars, because it's always seen as the warlike planet, and that's how I painted it. But sometimes that, just saying to people it's a warlike planet and there is anger there isn't quite enough. So what I've also said, it's like a cauldron that you throw everything in and boil it and boil it and boil it. And all those little beings can come along and do their warlike thing. That's fine because they're being boiled. But you are making a spell. You're making something completely new for yourself. And I would also say don't be afraid of anger. Everybody's always told me right throughout my life, oh, you're so angry. And it's like, yeah, but actually I do something with it.
Yeah, use that energy.
Focus it.
Yeah, focus the energy. Something positive. Thank you, that's lovely.
That's cells. I usually call it blood cells. It is a card of optimism, rather like the Eight of Staffs. But it's also sometimes a card of health. How is your health? Is it a bit iffy?
It's okay.
Okay, well, concentrate on getting things to just move. Don't block them. And allow some real positive optimism in. Just see where you're going with it.
I've been pretty optimistic for about 3 months, actually. So,
What do you see in it?
I see a face in it, actually. The eyes, the nose, the mouth.
Okay.
And I think because it's red-ish, I was thinking of like energy.
It's very energetic card, that one. And also, as I say, it's blood cells. I didn't want it red, but the pink is energized, I think. So if it's been the last 3 months that you've been energized and active, maybe that's been around for 3 months. Who knows? Sorry.
I've got this watery one.
That's not watery, that's winter.
Winter.
That's cloudy.
Cloudy.
Well, for me, it's sort of like cold. Now, I always find that a really difficult card to read. Sometimes it's about you have to freeze down. You just have to take a step back and say, I'm not involved here. But sometimes it's also about getting that gale force energy and really putting it to use, because there is a being in there. You can see it?
Yes. I can see. Yeah.
Okay.
With the the tarot doesn't do time. So I don't know if any of you do try and actually forecast anything through time. People always think, well, how long is it going to take? And the Devas are nice in that they do. Every now and again, you say, how long is this going to take? And you get summer, and it's like, okay, well, let me know if it happens in the summer. They can be horrendously accurate. I rely on them a lot now. So what does that say to you then? Does it make any sense that you have to be quite cold about something at the moment?
I feel sometimes maybe I'm too cold in a way.
It's very orange.
I guess you would be, wouldn't you?
So I wonder if this is a warning.
Well,
not
that's
to
the
be all-
energy
is it-
around you.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just wondering if it's saying it's okay to be cold, or is it like is it too
Maybe
much?
that's, we've been having this discussion a lot about
Yeah.
the left brain thing,
Yeah.
and you being very logical.
Okay, let's see.
So,
What do they
Okay.
want to tell you? Well,
Okay.
tree. Well,
no,
let's see. I don't think that you're doing anything wrong.
Okay.
But maybe you can grow into more of a shamanic type practitioner, grow into more of a what's the
practice
word?
the right brain.
Yeah.
Use the right brain and activate all the other bits, and then that can come through to it.
It's funny you've mentioned shamanic because I have been.
Yeah.
Thanks to Heather to introduce to it.
Like
Cool.
that tree is like got that wisdom.
Yeah.
And the Kabbalistic tree of life.
Life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't think you believe in it so much. I mean, not in a bad way. But I don't think you've let it out yet. You're trying.
I think it's more like because it's still fairly new. It's just remembering to do it in a way, and that's the issue for me. It's like it's like you've kind of had these skills, but then because you're not using it every day, it's just like, oh yeah, I have these. Hang on, let's dig them out with the drawer. Sort of
But
thing.
why don't you do something different? Have you ever experienced any synchronicity, sort of real odd things happening again and again?
Yeah.
Okay, those are the Devas. The Devas trying to communicate with you. Why don't you do this sort of be here now thing, and find out what the energy is around you? So if you're walking down the street, just say, okay, I'm walking down the street. What is there around me?
Yeah, don't shut it out.
Yeah, because that's shamanic in its own right.
Yeah. Okay.
And anyway, if you're going to be a shaman, they'll call you anyhow.
Thank you very much.
Okay, pleasure.
Then there's me.
Yeah, the cave. Now, this is Plato's cave. I was always wanting to do the entry into the cave, and it just wouldn't work. So eventually, when I painted it, it was being in the cave and looking out. Now, Plato's cave, you heard of the shadows on the wall story?
No.
What he said was that we are all in a situation where we think we're in reality and we think that we see. But most of us are half asleep, and most of us are chained by the neck in a cave, and what we think is real reality is just shadows on a wall.
Sounds like the devil.
Pardon?
Is it like being trapped?
I think it's just, we think, illusions. We think we know what reality is, and we don't. So, yes, it can be sort of diabolic, if you like. But anyway, in his story, one man actually goes out and sees what real light is, comes back and tells everybody, and they kill him. But in my card, he's come back, he's told everybody, and they are like, so we could go out? And quite a few of them are going to. So it's a really optimistic card. It's not the unconscious at all. This is about, we live in a cave, but we could actually come out.
This makes a lot of sense to me, actually. It really does.
Great.
Because I see a lot, I know a lot, but I don't act on it a lot. In fact, I don't.
Right.
So knowing that you have this power to get out of the cave and get the real light rather than the half light that's inside the cave,
Only light. Yeah.
it totally makes sense. How to get there, I have no idea, but it really makes sense.
But if you have the intention, then it can happen. If you don't have the intention, if you're still stuck in the cave.
I think it will happen. I don't think it's going to be a fast process for me. I think it will happen eventually, so this makes a lot of sense.
I think every now and again we take a big step forward and look back and think, oh my God, I've had a big step forward.
Yeah, I think it will happen. It's just a combination of things. But that's good. Thank
Great.
you.
And you've got the guy that I call Nightbird or Phoenix. It's a bird, but it's one of the shadow beings, but it's sort of half shadow and half light, as we all are. But it can fly very, very high. It goes right up into the stratosphere. So this is about objective thinking. Like yours, a bit, take a step back so that you can see. But this one is like fly high and don't be afraid. Really pick up the last of the sun. And then you can be reborn.
Isn't Phoenix the bird of love?
Phoenix the bird of love. I hadn't heard that.
I don't know. I mean, French where they just say it's a bird of love.
Okay. Well, I don't know enough. I don't know anything about Feng Shui, actually. But for me, that would be if you want to rebirth yourself, then fly high and don't be afraid.
Yeah, I think you can see the phoenix in many ways. For me, phoenix represents death in tarot. The true meaning of death, the actual starting slowly and be reborn. There's only one deck I know of that, there might be more than one, but the only deck I know is the Shadowscapes that actually portray the death of the phoenix. But I don't know about that, I haven't heard that before, so I don't know.
This one really, yeah, I mean, like I'm always attracted to birds, like hawks, and just watching them fly overhead. It's interesting. So when I saw that, it's
yeah, and it is a predator, that one. So it's not a nice, sweet little songbird. It will kill if it needs to. Okay, and you've got the witness card, which I didn't actually have in the deck for years, and I really wanted it in the deck, so I finally said, right, it's going in the deck. I have no idea what it's about, but how I say it is it's somebody who can deal with complete chaos around them and stand tall and stand rooted. So you've got a comet going around, you've got this sea boiling, but it's about really, okay, I'm here as a witness. Now, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's actually surprised that I was born on mine, belonging to planet Mars, which is, as you said, like the certain qualities of Mars, that's exactly what you said, right? Yeah, it really makes sense, yeah, and quite surprised to see that number there, because that's my name numerology number, 25. So I was kind of surprised that coincidence or just
mine is not.
real.
Actually, I don't know, 66.
I think the Devas do pull on energies that I have no idea about. They really are something. That's why I tell people that they are real, because I believe they're real. In fact, there was a few years ago, it was in winter, and I suddenly thought, you know what, I don't know that I do believe this. I better check it out, because I'm telling everyone they're real beings, and I don't believe it. So I went out, and it was snowing. So I said, all right, guys, I really want you to tell me that whether you're real or not. If you're real, I want it to start snowing again, and it actually didn't look like it was going to snow again. It looked like it was finished for the day. I want you to start snowing again, and I want something so bizarre as well that even I can't ignore it. So about an hour later, it started snowing again. I was like, okay. And
Is there any...
I haven't finished the story, hold on. Later that afternoon, I wanted to tell my ex-husband about a book I'd been given at Christmas, and it was called Shadow of the Wind. And I thought I'd better check on who's written it, because it's so great. I went into my bookshelf, and right next to it was a book called The Shadow of the Sun, or Shadows on the Sun. I was like, now that is bizarre enough for me to really take on board. But just to finish it off, I read the book, and at the very end there was a description of a man who had so much energy that he just burst open his human frame and turned into a deva, and I was like, oh my God. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, they're real. This is me, Venus. Okay, I never take any notice of them, but Venus is the planet Venus, but it's quite dark because it looks pretty, it looks lovely and soft and gentle and lovely, but if you landed on Venus, it would kill you in 2 seconds flat. So I don't really want to be told that about love. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so that's, I mean, what else can I tell you about? I could go on a long time about the Devas, but the trouble is it's all science and I don't know all that much about it. But if anyone wants to pass the book around, if anyone wants to ask questions, and then I can talk briefly about this one, the Byzantine.
Oh yes, that's the one, the tarot one.
The actual tarot deck, yeah.
Do you find you've got to the stage where sometimes you don't need to consult the cards because you're getting those data energies around you and you're reading them now?
I always do use the cards. A friend of mine actually tried to get me to read without the cards. And yes, I can, but the trouble is I have such a strong left brain that I'm like, well, is it coming through intuition or am I thinking this? You know? So that's why I prefer to use the cards, because they won't be swayed, you know. So, any other questions about the Devas?
Why didn't you use read reversed cards?
Why don't I with the Devas? Because it's too much like hard work. I read reverse with the tarot all the time, but I'm using the Devas to look at energies. And frankly, if I tried to work out what the reverse thing is, a reading would take an hour and a half instead of just half an hour. Yes, it is possible to read them reversed, but I just haven't put that in the book and I haven't actually thought about it.
Because mine was reversed and I don't read reverse in the tarot, but I think that the reversed was right for that one.
Remind me what it was.
Mine was Earth.
Okay.
I think I'm to Earth, and at the moment not enough on the higher trains. And I don't normally read reverse, so I just wonder why you said so. It's up to the individual how they do it.
It is up to the individual, and for me, the Devas are for someone who can actually read for themselves as well. You know, if I read for somebody, I don't expect them to take me as gospel. I expect them to say, right, well, that doesn't feel right. So what you just said is great. If you think that you're too earthed, well, do something about it.
Well, I think about it.
Spring. Bring a little bit of joy into your life, I think. Throw a bit of rose petals around. Have fun.
Me time?
Pardon?
Me time?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a lovely, beautiful image, actually, lovely.
Thank you.
It's actually, is it a person? It's like fireworks.
Very celebratory.
Yeah.
Or even the energy. Riding the waves.
There, I was looking them up and
They're lovely colours.
they're all
Well.
pink.
So I don't quite know what to do about these ones. They're not completely finished. I haven't done the 10s. And I've missed out a couple of cards. I've either lost them or not included them, so there are a couple missing. But if, again, 78 cards is going to take forever.
So what are these then?
These
Tarot.
are new tarot. They're not published yet. They will be published next year. They're a Byzantine deck. So the whole book is written by John Matthews and is painted by me. The interesting thing is that when I first started getting interested in it, this is the guy I encountered as the hermit. Just pass it around, I think.
Okay, so it looks quite Greek.
John Matthews as of the John and Caitlin. Yeah, thank you.
He has done about 14 decks.
Yeah, he's prolific.
He is prolific, but it's interesting, he found it really interesting because I just did the deck as I saw fit, and he wrote the book around what I painted, which is great. You know,
Yeah,
that,
brilliant. Yeah, I've
it really
seen
does
some
work.
images of that, and it looks really good.
I've only put in a few images on Facebook though. That I don't know, I'll just pass it around in a bit. But what I was thinking is it might be quite interesting to shuffle them and do a combination of Deva and Tarot.
Alright.
Which is what I normally do. It's just that I haven't used these before with the Devas, so that, hey guys.
Okay.
Can I ask you what the significance of Byzantine is? I mean, what is the theme of Byzantine?
You know the Byzantine Empire?
Not enough about it. Just
Well, nobody does. But the Byzantine Empire was, it lasted from about 300 AD to 1453 when Constantinople fell to the Arabs.
Then it became the Ottoman Empire. Is that so?
I think.
I'm Greek secret. My dad's always talked about it Byzantine. I was there. But yeah, that's
They
fascinating.
were seen as the Roman Empire.
They saw themselves as the Roman Empire, you know, that took over from Rome, but they were Greek. They spoke Greek, I think.
Yeah, Byzantine Greek. It's what you hear in my Greek church. It's Byzantine Greek when they conduct the
Yes.
liturgy. It's quite difficult to understand.
It's funny because I really didn't find the whole Byzantine art thing I found quite revolting. You know, the icons, they're so and they're so ugly. So to find that hermit, I was just like, this is incredible. They are not ugly. If you look, they're amazing. So when I started painting, every single one of these images, with the exception of death and the devil, come from Byzantine art. I haven't photographed them, I've painted them. So I've changed them, but they're all Byzantine art.
Existing pieces of Byzantine art.
You go around Turkey and Greece and
Do you
Russia
think
and stuff.
And
You'll
North
find
London.
take the card. Oh, and I want you to take the data card as well. Can you just pass them round? So shuffle them and just take the card again.
Yeah. I sent you a message. You haven't made it far. I was expecting
You can if you want.
I find that.
Some of them are quite thick because I changed the image.
Yeah. No, but I couldn't find the place to write it. But no, it's alright.
do you think it represents
Yeah.
the right hemisphere of the brain? The Byzantium,
Byzantine Empire, no.
because it's split up into two, and one went to the Rome became the left side, and the Byzantium was on the right side.
Yeah, but I don't think it represents the right side of the brain at all. I mean, the church in Byzantium was horrendous. You know, when the empire first started, it was actually really interesting. And then gradually it got more and more and more rigid and more miserable. Oh, God. Sorry, this is one of my pet hates.
Did they become the Greek Orthodox Christian? Should I turn it around? Wait.
Yeah. What? Turn them and I'll start reading. Well, that one is reversed. And so is that one, but I'm not going to. This is really interesting because you've got a combination of the moon, which is, you know, slightly dodgy, and first light. So somewhere along the line, I wonder whether I will have to actually try reading that first light figure. Actually, why don't you try reading it?
I'm a beginner.
Well, that's a good beginning then.
I thought I'll pick things up from you.
Yeah, the colours do work, don't they?
In the centre of this.
Yeah. Well, the moon for me represents the subconscious, and so does the color purple. You know, spirituality and the subconscious.
Okay.
No, this is the void.
And night as well.
This is the void.
I think something new is wanting to be birthed.
You know what she said about
but you're afraid of
you weren't
it.
here, sorry.
So your unconscious is sort of bubbling away, but you're not letting it out. Would that make sense?
It would make sense.
No, the void is the black. It's not that.
Yeah.
So is it indicating something is coming through, or even if I'm trying to hold on to it, it's emerging slowly?
Well, it depends on how strong you're holding on to it. I would actually just do a little bit of letting go. Do some meditation or something. Yeah, actually.
Whenever I leave my home without an umbrella, it starts raining.
Yeah, but you don't need it here.
I've saved everyone.
Hiya.
Sorry.
No, good. What did you get?
Wow. I got 2 coins and I got 1 shot.
Just coins the mineral. Okay, so what does that say to you?
Well, mineral world to me is actually Earth again.
Yes.
And you know, and it's also about, I mean, I'm wearing a crystal mineral around my neck. It is literally the Earth and the Earth's core to me and the quality of the minerals. And especially something like this, which is very yellow, is the solar plexus, and it's also about yes, dealing with those energies of the very earth energy of the minerals. 2 of coins, 2 is always about decisions, aren't they? It's a coin card, so it's about money
Or energy.
And you know, and you come up to like crossroads, you've got 2 ways to go in a way. It almost looks a bit like the fall as well. It's a new journey because
Yes.
that's what I was saying. Because you've got the staff,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, and it is, I think it's about a new.
That was what you were talking about.
Yes, to me, it's about a new financial journey. It's about yes, to me, and that's as far as I can do it.
I would say, given that you were thinking that you were a bit too earth, that it might actually be, well, you have 2 choices here. You can go with the grounded energy, or you could go with something that's a little bit unknown. But crystals can actually be quite creative.
We've got time, yeah, because we're going.
Because they look like pencils.
They look like pencils actually, about a lot of writing. Because to be honest, I mean, you were saying about coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, everything I've is pointed to peacocks. Everywhere I go, it's peacocks.
That's interesting.
I go to Kew and there's peacocks everywhere. And I go around the corner, there's another peacock. And I just found something today that's a peacock, and I've got a peacock feather, and blah 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 blah. Peacocks are about, to me, it's sort of the hangman.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
going into your symbol with the hangman and the sort of going to a period of gestation before something comes.
So, take the other path then. The path less well travelled.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
No, that's fine.
Is this
Gaia, actually. So another choice here. But for me, the 2 of Swords is actually holding the swords actually static. Even though they want to change, they want to move. But I don't know where the Gaia comes in at all.
That's just what I see. Or maybe it's like the Google image, isn't it?
taking yourself, to make the decision. Listen to me, I'm sorry, I don't want to leave this.
No, actually, I should just have said, discuss.
To make the decision, you have to almost advance your situation above it.
That's true.
Look down on the situation.
Well, it's so interesting how these cards are going out.
No, they're much too long.
Too long, and you're cutting your arms up like that. They're not even like the normal image when you have it across your chest or anything. This is really high up. Nobody literally can carry.
I thought he would be standing on the practice thing and saying, look at me, I can play with these swords.
Like just blankly.
Well, this has been starting the past year has been like major decisions, which I take.
You could just dump it out.
Decisions and just waiting for everything to finalise.
Okay.
But it is about this slight transition space now is about to settle. Should
Right.
be settled in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, I suppose at the moment you've still got to hold the two swords, don't you? It's not about making a decision, and for me, the two swords is never about making decisions, it's about holding off making a decision. I'm going to have to be really careful with this tarot, though, because I'm so used to my intuitive. I know it backwards. And this is a very different beast, so I can't actually read it in the same way. It's very upsetting. Oh, so you've got the magician and the fire.
So what would that mean, fire?
Why don't you read it?
To take action, to be creative.
Okay, I like that.
To take practical steps towards doing something, using my skills and talents.
Believe in yourself?
Yeah, I do need to believe in myself. I'm a bit like that. I sort of put things off. Yes. So that's quite nice. Lovely and vibrant colours.
Oh, it's there's a hell of a lot of energy. It's sort of like being shot out of a volcano. So allow something to carry you out.
Yes.
I think.
True, yes, I do have a lot of energy that sort of moves. With exercise, I kind of sort of channel it and then I stop. And then I've got this energy that's sort of frustrated.
Put that into some creative work, yeah. It doesn't have to be wonderful. That's
right. I am a bit critical.
Yeah, this is what stops us all, you know.
Yes. Thank you.
Cilla, would you mind interpreting this for me? Because I'm having a question about whether or not this is...
Can I go around there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to go. Sorry.
We're in a queue scholar staffs.
The king's, he's a king.
King of Wands.
Yeah, king of Wands, yeah.
Yeah.
And then chaos and order.
Chaos and order.
Yeah, both together. So the king, I think, is always one of these people who is quite ordered, you know. He wouldn't really take to disorder.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, actually. I don't think he really works in that deck, but at the moment that's what we got. But in the middle, you've got on the Chaos and Order card, you've actually got a shaman dancing, or a witch doctor dancing. I didn't see that for a few years, actually. I only saw it after I've been using the card for a while. So it's just, I don't know what to... You tell me what you think about the king, and I'll tell you what I think about Chaos and Order.
That's right.
Well, when I first saw it, one of my main interests is creative writing, so that's how I
Okay,
read it.
well, in that case, good.
The image spoke to me, also the fact it said scholar,
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
learning, so I didn't too much get the king thing.
Okay.
So that's how I read it. So,
And the Chaos and Order then, I think, maybe allows some wildness into the whole thing.
yeah,
And some chaos.
yeah, let it mix up a little bit.
Yeah,
Don't structure it too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me anyway.
Zing. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Good. Okay. What have you got? And Seed and the Three of Cups.
Didn't get on with it.
So the seed is obviously something seeding, something being born. It's very vibrant and it's really there.
Yeah.
The Three of Cups is a sort of social, celebratory card, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been working hard over the past few months to get my social life together. So it seems as though maybe this will be getting it once it really does get going, it really takes off.
And it's a completion card as well, so it's gathering momentum.
Yeah.
And it's reaching the stage you want it to, perhaps.
Yeah.
The energy is a sort of growing one.
Yeah, it's like
Sorry.
it's just taking off there. It's getting faster, it's getting faster and faster and faster.
Yes, yeah.
Good.
What was your card before? Wasn't that a 3 or was it a lovely?
That was the blood cells.
Ah, yeah, blood cells once. Yeah.
Does it just look like Kim said that, she saw it and just that looks like Hereford as well, and that looks like the lovers. It's definitely an element of
3 people?
yeah, we've got a choice between 2 people.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, and in the actual lovers in that deck, you've got Adam and Eve and the snake.
Well, I got the Hierophant, and I read up this is the Desert card.
Yeah, it is the desert card. For me, that's the Vision Quest card. I still stand by what I said before. You've got something going on here that you haven't quite acknowledged, and you need to take on your own power. So do a Vision Quest.
Okay. Wow.
What's a vision quest?
Oh, you go out into the wilderness, and if you're brave, you don't eat for 3 days, and then you have this dream that tells you what you are supposed to be doing.
Native American style.
Exactly.
So you just drink and you don't eat 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do that, but it's
There are
definitely
there are
a
different ways.
stripping everything away.
Yeah.
Some people you take drugs, and other
Yeah.
people you just sit still and
You could take ayahuasca if you really wanted.
It is
Take what?
Ayahuasca. It's a plant drug, and people apparently are taking it. It's poison.
Is it the hallucinogenic
Yeah.
taking the psychedelic?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
It's
But again, it's not compulsory. You can do it.
AYUAH, and I can't remember any of the alphabets.
Really letting go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just let go.
But you don't have to. It's
Yeah.
to basically the aim is to awaken your senses.
And
that
not
you
to
don't
question
usually
what you're
use.
seeing.
Yes,
So you can do that
yeah.
without the plants or anything. You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it through art.
Yeah, through art, to
Okay, so yours is Michael, the Archangel, and the Page of Coins, who isn't normally on that sort of level. So how do you relate to the Page of Coins? He's rather sweet in this deck, actually.
Yeah,
I can't stand him in the
I
eye
kept
of the deck.
thinking of him as the Page of Cups for a minute, but
Oh, right.
no, it is the coins. To me, he's learning about life. He's learning about what makes the world go round in a way, and maybe trying to figure out why things happen or how things happen.
Do you relate to that?
Yeah.
Okay, but then you've got this massive, massive angelic energy around you that can cut through anything. So maybe you're not as basically on a basic level as you thought. Would that make sense?
Can I say something about the two cards? The way they look, if you turn them around, Page of Pentacles is holding the pentacle here. And the pentacle almost look like, of course it's not exact, it's like it's holding Michael. It's the same
Maybe bringing
energy,
it,
the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
here, bringing that energy
Bringing
into
that
reality,
energy.
into
slowly because it's a page, but
It's very interesting because I wouldn't have put those two together normally.
I know they're not the same picture, but it's almost like it's holding the same kind of energy to his heart.
So does that make any sense to you? Great. Maybe you see yourself as a page, but actually you've got Michael. standing there with his sword. He's a truth seeker,
He's
Michael.
my favourite.
Yeah.
Definitely is my favourite.
Also, the funny thing is about that, if you look at it, that's how I painted it originally. This is one of the big ones. And I saw it as a cave, another cave. But then I put it up once like that and thought, oh, that's a person. So he's kind of dual aspected. But he's a light bringer. Who was asking about Lucifer? So Michael would be Lucifer, the light bringer, except that he would be carrying a Lumiel energy rather than Lucifer energy. But in the deck, there is Eros, the divine masculine.
Okay.
And he's Lumiel. Sorry, I'm lying to you here. So he's Lumiel, the light bringer. Eros. Number 5, I think he is.
I believe the Knight of Wands
Yeah.
with Grace.
And you're holding it upside down.
Sorry.
That's amazing, though. The Grace is the divine feminine.
Yeah, I was reading up on it, and it's very forward, where the cave was telling me, get out into the light and do it. And this is telling me the Knight of Wands.
Take the lights on.
Yeah, take it on.
And the Knight of Wands is saying?
Bring it on. Both of them are saying the same thing. Both are very forward.
Yeah. I love the Knight of
I
Wands.
mean, I'm a Pisces, but I'm a Leo rising. Although I don't know the Knight of Wands, I don't think
It's
Leo.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, but
Yeah.
still fire.
Yeah, but in this deck, I have to tell you, this deck, I've linked wands and air, and swords and fire.
Ah.
So he's not a fire
okay,
one.
So they're not a fire. So this would be?
Air.
Which?
So
Knight
Knight
of
of
Wa-
Swords.
Knight of Staffs is air.
So Gemini.
Gemini, yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Gemini.
he could eat.
Okay, still fast.
Still fast and can talk, and he's a musician, he's a troubadour, he
And
could
from
be...
sorry, Cilla, from
Yeah.
what I understand from Grace, it's lovely card, but it's quite strong.
Oh, yeah.
It's saying maybe I'm not seeing things quiet. Maybe what's the word in English? Oh gosh, what's the word? I am not putting myself down, I'm underestimating myself.
Yeah. Well, that would figure.
And it's telling me, no, take the light, take it, move forward and see what goes
Take
on.
the lightning horns.
Yeah. I like it. Very positive.
Great, okay. Creation and the Queen of Coins. Creation you were holding upside down, by the way. Yeah. So it is a huge card. It's the energies of the world actually starting to make the universe into some sort of order. And I think the Queen of Coins does that as well. She's a sort of ordered type person, and she can bring things together. So it is about bringing things together and making something work for yourself, I would say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
And you've got the Knight of Cups,
Got
and
lots of figures.
this one is time-space, space-time.
Space time.
And it usually is read like the Wheel of Fortune, so it's a massive change coming in. As the Knight of Cups, I don't know. It's almost telling a story there, isn't it? But anyway, the Knight of Cups you probably know about. He's this ideal person who's looking for the Grail quest. And to get the Grail quest, you're going to have to go down the plug hole. That's going to be challenging.
Well, get into the bottom of things.
Yeah. Or just allowing the paradigm shift altogether. Nice.
Very positive.
Okay, so that's it really, I think.
Yes.
Anyone got any questions?
I was torn initially between this one and this one. Could you tell me?
That's spring. spring. So it's about joy and having a bit of fun. If you're going to have a choice between the two, I'd go with the creation one.
I can relate to that.
Thank you very much, Cilla.
Okay, pleasure.
What kind of practice do you suggest, like using these devas to
No, I've got that. That's the thing.
use this as a channel to?
It's just like some of my friends have told me. Gosh,
Yeah, you can meditate with them. Just draw. I mean, quite a few of my friends just draw a card every day, meditate on it. I want people to understand that these are beings and actually start relating to the beings out there, rather than just saying, "Oh, they're a pack of cards." They're not a pack of cards. Actually. They are energies. And if you hook into them, if you take them on, then they will change your life. They're quite powerful.
And yeah, I'll go back and I go, oh, thank you.
So if you wanted to use them in whatever way. You can read with them, but this is probably not the best way of doing that. The best way of doing it is to actually take on the energies, choose a card every morning or evening, and then really meditate on it and see what it's telling you.
It's just like saying, well, you know what, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a workshop? Why don't we, you know?
Devas have angelic energy as well. There are angels, but they're much bigger.
I'm not doing it consciously.
And they're much more primordial, because angels came from the Hebrew.
Doing it because the cards came.
Well, actually, they came before that, angelos. But the Devas came from Sanskrit.
Something I'm missing.
You know, 6,000 years
What
ago.
am I missing?
Sanskrit, the Hindu,
And it could also be that I'm doing too many things at the same time.
Yeah.
So therefore,
They were talking about people.
the Zoroastrians come up with the idea.
No, we're picking up
Yeah. It's got a huge history.
I'm all like, yes. And then it's taking my focus elsewhere.
At that stage, when they first started talking about Devas, they were talking about Shiva and Krishna and Agni, fire. So they have a
So
long
then
history.
they turn into all the gods and all that in the Hindu faith. They have their origin in the
And then the Persians kind of turned everything around, because the Persians said that the Devas were evil, and I can't remember what the other things. They got Devas and something else, and in Persia the Devas are the evil ones and the other ones are the light ones. So the whole thing changed around, but as far as I'm concerned, the Devas are the Devas.
For what she was saying earlier, yes.
So actually, that's it as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, thank you very much, Cilla.
Okay.
And you have some decks here, by the way?
I have some decks, yeah, if anyone wants a deck. They're $26.99. And they used to be $60, because I used to have to print the damn things out. And they used to take cut them out, stick them together, put them in a box. Used to take 3 days.
No, yeah, that's totally understandable. It's hard work and it costs money.
Yeah.
So